should be doing nothing. That's not the thing I wanted to do. There we go. Now I can do the thing. Alright, give me just a second, folks. And we will... There. That. Forgive my coughs. All right. All right, we got that. We'll do this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mountain Magic and Mayhem. I am TanktheElder, and this is me playing Minecraft in my, I guess you could call it a forever world. The idea is to keep playing in here as long as I am still interested in it. So yeah, that ought to be the fun bits. I am going to do some things. So I got on and played a little bit last night. Just trying to get some things squared away from what I did yesterday. The major thing that I accomplished while I was doing that is I'll run out here to the front. So I added this section in. This is the front of where the bridge section is going to be. And then you can see I went ahead and enclosed the front of the neck holding up the command tower. And just before we got streaming here, I went ahead and got the height that the bridge section is going to be. So at this point, we're going to go fill our pockets with cobblestone to keep filling it in, and then we will have all of the major dimensions of the Star Destroyer locked in place, which is good because that's going to help me in plotting how we go about filling things in, instead of being stuck going, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this. Ouch. So, that is a fun place to have gotten to, where at this point I'm most of the way towards having something, at least the very basic wireframe for the Star Destroyer locked in place, and then it becomes a matter of filling in details and getting other things like that set up. So, for instance, we're going to have a little bit of fun because in keeping with most of... There we go. Let's actually start sharing what I'm doing. In keeping with the design philosophy that they apparently used while doing this, there's only a few places where you have true 90-degree joined sections. So the very front is going to be one such area. And let's see, I hope I've been cagey enough. Let's at least lay in. So, okay, so it is this level. Alright, so we're going to do 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then pop. And why does that look... That's why. So that should probably... Let's just make sure we're going to come back this way. And partly because that means we can also fill in the walkway and then have a nice stable place so that as I'm up here a bit longer and those stupid flying mobs decide to come visit, I will have fewer places for them to knock me off and cause problems. Wow. Okay. I will be honest, I thought I was off on that, but I was not, so okay. Okay, I probably should just go ahead and put a whole bunch of rocks in my pockets to keep actually working. So, at least a few more. Alright. I was wrong. I did not realize... Oops. Let's not be quite that hasty. Yeah, no, I would have sworn on that field of view that was not lined up properly. And it was. So, good to know. My big concern here... You know what I actually should be doing this on? Should actually be doing this in stone. So let's go do that. Let's set that up. Okay. Sorry, I'm attempting to plan ahead. So the outer layers of the Star Destroyer, I have already planned to have is mixtures of, at least on the lower portion, so anything that is the bottom of the Star Destroyer. So like everything that's coming, that I'm going to be putting into here to create the keel of the Star Destroyer and all that. I want that bottom layer to be stone or andesite. Just because I think it's going to be a better look for it overall. And then there will be places that will come in and we can add in Oh, excuse me. The smooth stone and what have you. I should have just taken the elevator. Whatever. I'm a silly goose. I'm forgetting where I am on my Star Destroyer. But I think I'm going to go ahead. That is not the one that's going to get me upstairs. This is the one that will get me upstairs. But yeah, I would like to go ahead and we'll do that in here. And I will decide at some point whether we're coming back in and so if I'll come back in with some andesite later and make things vary the texture enough that it reads nicely. The one thing I don't want this to look like is, oh look, he reshaped the mountain into the thing. Woo. But I don't think most of the textures, for one, the sheer amount of coal that I would need to make more than enough of the, excuse me while I do something, the sheer amount of smooth stone I would have to create to do the entire outer thing as smooth stone would be astronomical. Like, it's already kind of impressively intensive to have gotten where I am with how much smooth stone I've already created. Where if I use just the stone, all I have to do then is go do some terraforming with the silk touch. And then we have nice things. But I may come back in once I've... The more that I'm looking at it, the more I think what I will probably do for the part of me that knows Minecraft looks its best when you're dealing with multiple textures on a project. Oh, great. I'm sorry, guys. I did not sleep great last night, but here we are. We're still going to do this. Because my wife and I are finding ourselves in need of a change to our regular rhythms, or what had been our regular rhythms. So, I'm going to try and do these things early in the morning and see how life goes from there. Now, one of the things that I have been considering has been, because I know this is not exactly baller time for finding audience members, I might actually get myself into the business of actually making these as videos for everybody. We're just gonna have to see how life goes, because part of me says that might be the ticket, and part of me goes, maybe, maybe not. We're not sure. Alright, I am going to do at least this area, because it is right here where I'm less worried about the things that will be internal and thus invisible as the outer skin of the Star Destroyer comes together. Because Cobble is such an easy resource to acquire, I'm not especially worried about... Sorry. Told you I'm very tired. Haven't had my coffee yet. Or at least caffeinated tea. But yeah, at least here in a lot of the places that are going to be visible, I want the outer skin to, like, except when I go back through and do, like, a greebly pass, which, if you don't know what that is, that's like all of the little bumps and nodules and the, hey, that looks like it might be an important thing on the Star Destroyer. Apparently ILM's internal description of those is greeblies. Excuse me. And that comes from me watching way too much Tested with Adam Savage. Which I love watching his model making videos because he's so... It was his job, so he's good because of that. It's also something he's passionate about, so he puts that into his descriptors, like as he's trying to explain the process to people. It becomes a... Alright, so what I need... I have one up, so you need to... I need... Okay. So I will need to go pick up more. But, so yeah, this is going to be the front face here. But I love watching people who love doing something describe what they're doing. You know, in the case of Adam, he's a huge fan of Star Wars in the first place. He was somebody who was lucky enough to get himself in a position where he was able to he was actually able to go and work for ILM while they were doing the prequels. And just the passion that he still has for making models, celebrating both design and the craftsmanship that goes into creating filming models for on screen that man still possesses. It's just inspiring to me. Okay, I'm gonna pick that up. All right. So, but like I said, he does a lot of explaining, like, okay, so here's kind of the design problem. So one of the things that you may notice if you start paying attention to the way the Star Destroyer is designed, almost none of the exterior is built around a 90-degree join. Like, the only places that we're gonna find those in this build are right here as I get to the end of the That's 1 up and 3 over. Okay. So 1 up, 1, 2, and 3 is going to basically be here, up 22 blocks, and that's it. We're done. Even the very back of the command bridge is angled away. So, like, it'll be basically square here between these two ribs. But to get back here, it's going to slope from the top of it down, and it's also angled in towards the center. So, think of, if you're familiar with the shape of a home plate, it's that. But it is squished closer together. Like, it doesn't have the full reach, but that's kind of the angles that everything meets at. So, just kind of a fascinating design information. And we'll do that because we get out there. Okay. Well, we'll fix that. We'll fix that real fast. I say real fast, and then it still takes like 30 seconds to actually come this far down. Okay. What I probably ought to do, because I do have them from... Okay, so this is main bed. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab... shoot. We'll do that, at least. This way I don't have to spend all the time traveling up and down. Now that I've been up there enough that they're like, oh, you're gonna be here. Okay, we're gonna come bother you. Alright, so I do the steakums. Steakums, steakity steak. Alright. Oh, this is feeling so fun. It feels so good to be finally... So this is the last bit of major infrastructure that I need to define. So, like, you can see, I'm going to have a little bit of fun there because the Guardian farm is kind of in my way. But I'm very excited to know that's just a matter of filling things in. I don't really want to destroy that box anytime soon because it does allow all of the Guardians to... Okay, actually, let's do... Oops. Okay. So, there we go. Alright, that means we had enough. Alright, let's not get too jumpy, just because that is a long way to fall. Alrighty here. Oops, that's a silly. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. Trying to decide, because I have decided, instead of going and replacing all of these ribs of cobblestone, what I think I'm going to do is leave those in place, and it'll kind of give it a Racing Stripes-esque set of textures in the body of the Star Destroyer. I don't know. Trying to decide if I think that would look good up here and take the lines across, or if we just want to excuse me. I think let's just go ahead and begin by placing as many Alright. So it is not nearly so far to have to come run in here to that as it is to run all the way down to main floor and get that bed in use. So I am short enough on stone. Let's just not make more problems. Okay. Let me decide. Okay, so it is. Oh, really? 32. And what one? Let's go ahead. Well, if that's the case, then I ought to be able to do this. Yep, that's actually good information. If you're asking me what information, one of the things that I have considered doing for a long time on this build is because we have so much space in it and because we're getting so high, I want to put my mob grinder into the neck of the Star Destroyer. And the fact that I am up so high where I am, and okay. So the iron farm is working because that is an iron golem dying. But if you saw over here the patch of grass underneath me, that's my cow farm. And that cow farm was not populated with cows, even though when we get close enough, there's plenty of cows in there. That tells me that one of the things that will happen is I am actually up here high enough. If I put the spawning points for a mob grinder up here, I actually don't have to worry about lighting up caves and like, because I am too far away from them for that to generate anything. So now I really do need to figure out what I want that to look like and decide. So trying to decide if I want to have just the full-on mob grinder, which there's an argument to be made because that means that we are going to have the like one of the things that we'll be able to collect will be bones, and I have the need in certain ways and places and times that bone and bone meal will be a good thing. But I'm not... I can't make a skeleton-specific one. Hey, Laura. Good morning, my love. So, for those of you who don't know, that is my wife who just popped into chat. Because she's awesome. But what I don't know is if I am going to try and build a creeper-only farm to work with that. That is kind of fun, seeing the torches glitter there at the edge of my vision as I'm moving. It's pretty. Alright. Okay, I have to laugh that I just needed that. Okay. So, but that should get us there. And I'll replace this kind of like I did with the stone that was in there when I get out here. But let's go ahead, because we know the phantoms are coming, and the phantoms are a pain in the arse. So let's do that and this, and we'll grab another grab ourselves another stack here and make sure that we get that defined, because that then gives us the bottom of our command tower, the bridge apparatus. Alright. Then we will do some towering as necessary to set the front height. Oh, I hear little feet running. That means my son is awake, and he is excited to be awake. So this might actually get trimmed back, but for now we're going to go ahead and define, because it's easy enough to come in and pull blocks out when I realize, oh, I'm actually going to be slanting in at a particular angle. that way. Than it is to sit there and be like, oh crap, wait, where is this supposed to end up now? So, alright, so we have that squared away. I suddenly have the impression of myself as one of the workers that you see in the posts from like the 1930s. So how about we do that after you drop him off, because that'll be enough time for me to get my hair cut and get going when I need to. So do that, and oops, not that. I want you for placement purposes. My purposes need placed. Alright, so this is where we're going to come back and like that. So let's use that. Like I said, I have a good bunch of stone mined up already. Okay. And realistically, we're going to knock you off because this is the outside. Oops. Oh, jinkies. Yeah, if you're gonna make some, go ahead and do that, please. We'll just, yep. This, because it's in by the neck, should still be. So, you can kind of see now where I have, like, the decisions that I've made, where internally I'm okay with cobblestone. I want the exteriors to have some of the more refined textures, because, like, if you look down at the floors down there, those are not especially fun looking. Like, the texture of the cobblestone is just not that thrilling. And so what I would like to have start happening with these, it's actually, we're going to do this. Like I said, I probably will have to cut this out, at least parts of it. But for now, we're going to go with this is what it is intended to be. But I don't want the exterior texture to just be cobblestone, because that's going to look very basic. Plus, it's a very busy texture, so if I go in and I'm trying to do really refined kinds of things for the details for, like, the gun emplacements and all the other things that are going to go on the exterior of, you know, sensor arrays and, as I called them before, all the little greeblies that the Star Destroyer has on its surface. I want those to be built in a way that it's going to stand out, and using natural stone, I think, is going to give me lots of, and possibly andesite, or, well, definitely andesite. I just need to be finding and mining more pockets of that to put together. But yeah, I think having the stone and andesite as my outer skin is going to give me a way to find places like I did here with the neck that looks nice and armored, which you'd want something that, you know, if you're crazy enough to move your bridge to someplace like this, in a battleship. So let's face it, that is essentially the class of ship that a Star Destroyer belongs to. If you're going to be crazy enough to do that, then you're going to want to make sure that you can't lose communication between the bridge and the rest of the Star Destroyer, at least not easily. So that's where we'll have things that we'll go, oh, okay, this kind of works out. But yeah, we're gonna fill in a good few chunks of this, and I'll end up having to decide sooner than later, because this, like I said, this is high enough that I'm either going to be dropping lots of torches or glowstone to keep things lit up enough that we don't have to worry about mobs, or we're just gonna go ahead and need to finish off slabbing things and let things be dark but spawn-proof. Oh, excuse me again. I should have grabbed some tea before I came down, because sadly, turns out that when you drink coffee, you use coffee to make your coffee to drink. And I think that is just a terrible oversight, quite honestly. But, okay. So, I might do this and take a quick break. Let's see, we've been at it about 45 minutes. Well, I'll go ahead and get this laid in. Boom. Alright, so got that. Do that while I'm doing this. Come over here, and yeah, I will return shortly. And we will continue with building fun things. Alright, everybody. I am done eating and ready to get back to work. So, let's get to it, huh? So, but yes. As I posted in chat, my beautiful bride, Alora, has begun posting about the recipes that feed us. She has a very delicious chicken that she made for Mother's Day, actually. That is up there, and it was amazing. My wife, I'm an okay cook, in that if you give me ingredients, I will give you edible food. And I'm just arrogant enough to say that it'll be pretty good edible food. But when Alora decides to sit down and truly make something, the passion that she puts into her food means that we get absolutely delicious meals. And one of the things that our little empire of content creation is going to have eventually will be her channel, Mountains and Mayhem. Just like our Magic and Mayhem right here. But Mountains and Mayhem will also let you guys get a chance to see the garden that she does for us, as well as we might do some video accompaniment to certain of her certain of the recipes that she has up on the website as we get to that point. Unfortunately, there's only so much that I can send you to right now, just because we're still in the we need to make the content portion of content creation. But yeah, I am so proud of her for taking that step and actually getting us moving on that. And it'll be a fun way for you guys to get introduced to her before we get things going here. One of the other things that should start coming to the channel sooner than later, she and I both have gotten into playing Magic the Gathering. It's kind of getting back into playing it for both of us. I believe with the way things went, I had the greater investment previously. But she also saw some of it back in, I think she said it was middle school. She can correct me if I get it horribly wrong. So she knew of the game, had kind of a good idea of what it was. And then a friend of ours, a good friend of ours, who's actually... he's a third of the people that got us together. It was one of my groomsmen for the wedding. It was his and his then girlfriend's apartment. They hosted a game night, and because of that game night, eventually Alora and I met, and to make a long story most abbreviated, somewhat shortly after we met, we decided, hey, we're both kind of intrigued by this person who shows up to this game night place, and we decided that we wanted to make our lives more entwined, and thus we got married and now have our little boy, and life is just pretty darn awesome. But as that friend gave me, he gave me a pre-con. If you know Magic at all or care to look it up, the pre-con that he gave me was Quantum Quandrix from the Strixhaven block of cards, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun because I've played enough Magic to know I'm not a monocolor player, for one. But I appreciate being forced into simic colors which is using blue and green, for those of you who are not terribly familiar with it. I appreciate having that because it wasn't a combination that I had the opportunity to really explore previously. And you know what I'm thinking? Ooh. I gotta go move some stuff, and you need to frickin' despawn. I don't need to... That's actually, here as we're going down, I'll try and keep an eye out for it, but... yeah, that's a creeper hole. But as I got that, and then that same friend actually found at a thrift store, somebody had dumped off something like 5,000 cards. Sorry, it looks like scammers are trying to find me. But yeah, it was 5,000 cards, the vast majority of which were commons, and then some uncommons, but like the fairly inexpensive stuff. I'm going to need to make more glass. But I had idea, and I like idea. Oops. The other one I wasn't in. There we go. And with getting all of these magic cards, and like, there was just some timing in our group that it became more of a thing with the people that we were around. And so Alora decided that she also wanted to get back into it, and so we went ahead and she started building decks, and turns out she's actually pretty good at, like, she has a pretty natural understanding of how to build a deck that is effective in games. Like, one of the decks that we will... but with that, of course, it's not like she has a huge, long history of... But yeah, but as we got playing more, she decided one of the things that she'd really like to do is actually play and show, like, as she's learning, as we're getting better, because I have experience with Magic, but I would definitely not say that I'm an expert at playing. Just witnessed by the groups that I play in, and the fact that, more of my play is suboptimal than I prefer to admit, because I'm still attempting to compile these are the threats that are going on, this is how they need to be approached, and all that. So, but as we watched a bunch of other creators, one of the things she kind of realized is, like, yes, they show you what they play, but you don't really get a sense for, they played this because this was the solution that they had at the time. And so we're looking to put together basically real gameplay. Now, it'll be duels most of the time just because of space constraints and time constraints with our friends, so it'll actually just be commander duels that we play a lot of the time. But we want to kind of go through and show, like, okay, well, part of the reason why she did this in this situation was she did this, and of course she hadn't, unlike what, let me think how to do it. So, like, if you watch people play poker on TV these days, like, you get a false sense of understanding what's going on at the table, because the cameras that they have around the table give you access to all the information at the table. And so what we're trying to do is build a commander game where you'll get to watch her make decisions based, whoever we have filming their hand, you'll watch them make decisions based on what they've got, and you'll see what the board state is, so you'll have the same information that they're trying to create their decisions from. And with that, yeah, I like that notion. Okay. I'm glad I did that. It's going to take a little bit to make sure that looks really nice, but I like what I did there. But now I think since I emptied one, we should be able to, or at least part of one, take a chest up there and start filling it up with stone. But we'll get a more natural feel to, okay, in the moment before I flash down the, hey, you just did this, so it's time for me to board wipe you, you'll get a better sense of, okay, that makes sense that she would make this decision based on what she knows, because you only have the information on what she has, but it's not so completely in the dark about why she would choose to play one thing and then not another. And I keep saying she because it really was her idea from the start to have have this be the kind of thing where you can watch her decision making as she's playing the game. That is not saying that I will not also sometimes sit in the seat that we're watching the hands from, because I think it's important to, like, she's making decisions based on how she wants to play. I make decisions that are going to be different because that's how I want to play. And I think there's going to be good information for everybody to see, oh, you can, if provided certain hands, people can choose to you'll make different strategic choices. Like, I have a tendency to be a more methodical like, I'm going to sit here and I am going to try and take, build X, Y, and Z up and see how far I can get with that before you realize how much of a threat it is. I'm not a great blue player, but I do feel like in a lot of cases I build more so that I can influence actions on the battlefield rather than sitting here trying to go, oh, okay, well, here's just my ultra power move. Smash everybody to ribbons. Like, that's just, it's not how I think about the game. So, yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how this looks when I look up at it from the bottom. Now, the intriguing part about this is I'm going to have to make these too wide. Because one of the things that I have decided about this build is every exterior portion is going to be at least 2 blocks wide to imply that, there's armor plating on this thing. But as we've seen, I don't have tons of light gray. I don't have tons of light gray dye, which is another, hey, probably should go get, probably should get something so you can get those skellies going, so you can, because I don't remember which of the flowers gives you, or if any of the flowers actually give you double gray dye or light gray dye. So to be able to make this, I'm going to have, oh goodness, does this mean I'm going to end up building a squid farm too? Oh boy. Trying to keep, I mean, let's face it, I've got plenty of space in here to do it, because the Star Destroyer is 900 blocks long and 500 blocks wide back here and over 250 blocks tall at this point. So, yeah. And I am already realizing I'm going to have to go remove that. Because it's not right. It's not right. It's not exactly wrong, but it is in fact too high. But so, but we do I hear a little bubby? Come on in. Come on in.
See ya. Are you still online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, come here.
I come in.
Come here. Can I have a hug before you go see Grandma? You want a kiss? I love you. I love you.
Say bye, Daddy. I love you.
Stop DJ, baby.
Goofball. All right, let's go to the library real quick.
Oh boy.
Say bye, Daddy. Love you.
Bye, Daddy. I love you.
I love you too, buddy. That's my little one. I know you probably didn't see much more than his head, but that's okay. He doesn't need to be online very much. So that's just... I'm not paranoid about people, but the fact of the matter is the internet creates false senses of intimacy. For instance, I can talk to you guys a lot. I can tell you, bits and pieces of Alora and I's love story because, well, it's kind of important to us. And all of these things are good, and it's not like they would be false for me to tell them to you. But it's just not the kind of thing that I want to expose my son to at this point. And so we do our best to not do that for him. He needs to have a childhood, and a childhood that is free of entanglements from people who, even when they're well-meaning, it's not like you know anything about, even if I'm telling stories, it's not like anybody who would watch these actually knows my son. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Any of you who happen to think that you do know enough to come and interrupt our lives, you're going to find that I am not okay with that, nor is my wife, and there will be severe consequences. That's just how it is. Because we're not doing this to put our family at risk. We're doing this so that you guys can enjoy the things that we're doing. But there is a very definite line between opening our home a little bit to let you guys, in this case, you guys get to watch me play Minecraft. And it's a lot of fun, and I hope that in various ways everybody finds something that they really enjoy about it, and can go back to if you play Minecraft as well, that you can go back to your game worlds and do some fun things with your stuff. Burn, baby, burn. But yeah, this right here tells me that the notion of building my... Ooh, let's get some arrows. I like having the arrows. I actually have a pretty decent bow. Oh, oh. There we go. And Mr. Splooter, you have been pacified by the rising of the sun. So, there's really not a whole lot for you to do around here. But, see, and that's where I need to make sure that I go and do some things there, because that's problem boy. And he's not easily going to go away. Drop you off there. Alright. So, but yeah, just know as we get into this, we take our family's safety seriously, and so, but that is why we will do our best to call our son by cute names, because, well, for one, he's just adorable, and two, y'all don't need any information about him. So, or at least I'm okay with the only information y'all have about him being that we have a son, because he is one of the big motivations in my life to make sure that he's one of the reasons I do my best to make sure that I am being the best man that I can. Alora is the other reason for that. So, but yeah, I am so excited to have gotten this done. I do have the plans, though I don't think I currently have the resources up here to make it happen. I am going to also, before we finish this stream, put the upper height for this, but I want to make sure we got a pretty good platform first. So, alright. I think let's come over here and basically do the same thing. But yeah, I love seeing down here. We're going to do this. Just watching all the torches twinkling. So, and those will be a very fun project coming up soon. Not the torches. Back here, all of the grid that you can kind of see being laid in. I have decided that one of the things that I'm going to do is make a spaceport facility here behind it. Kind of have the intention of making it look like getting the Star Destroyer in here was an exceptionally snug fit. It probably is a little bit too much for the typical facilities that a place would have, but I love the notion that this will be a spaceport, and then beyond that we'll start putting in the obviously if there's a spaceport, that means there needs to be people who work the spaceport. And there's probably warehouses and things like that for people, for the ships that show up that have cargo and all these kinds of things. And so we'll do a lot of what's around this area as Star Wars inspired, at least. I don't know if I'm going to draw hugely from any one design choice that has been shown in any of the films. They will definitely be an influence on what I'm, like, how I'm building it. The fact that, in most cases, Star Wars architecture seems largely involved in curves and domes. One of the things, just because with all of this gray for the Star Destroyer, which makes sense because, it's a battleship, I want to use other colors because Minecraft has some very beautiful colors to work with. One of the projects I have the intention of doing is actually building something not too far off. That shouldn't take us too long to get to. That's kind of reminiscent of the Royal Palace on Naboo. In terms of, it's going to be that kind of coppery turquoise roofing, and then with that terracotta burnt sienna orange-ish. Well, actually, not burnt sienna. That would be much darker. Sorry, my capacity to talk about colors, because I'm an art major, getting a little ahead of myself on that. But that kind of terracotta color for most of the buildings, like especially for the walls on Naboo, that was kind of a big deal in the movies and whatnot, and I think we're just going to try and honor that and make it what it's going to be. I do appreciate that villagers, at least as long as the chunk itself is kind of loaded, are their own thing, so that the iron farm is actually working while I'm doing this. Because one of the things I have decided is the engines are going to at least have portions of that are made with iron blocks. Super expensiveness. Just because if you think about how your muffler is built in your car, like it's built with a bit more robustness than certain other parts. The same as your engine is built from a solid block of metal, or as near a solid block of metal as can be, because it's dealing with the extremes of converting one form of energy to another. In this case, it's essentially chemically... Well, it's converting chemicals from what they are into an explosion. And as many of us know, explosions are heat, and and light and all kinds of things like that. There's plenty of science channels on YouTube who will explain it much better than I'm doing at this point in time. So go patronize them. Take their science content, enjoy it, learn from it, all that. But basically, anytime you're trying to convert something into a different form than what it is, you have wastage. In the case of an internal combustion engine, yes, you get a lot of energy from the gas combusting, but a lot of that energy actually gets wasted just as heat. And in fact, most vehicles that human beings have currently designed, that's the problem that you have. The fuels that we use are actually kind of inefficient in that when they go through the process we're using to harness the energy, we lose a lot of the energy, or we lose a certain amount of the energy to the process of converting the fuel to energy that can be used to make the vehicle go. Jet engines, you're burning a lot, but you're going to end up with with a lot of thrust, but that thrust also comes with a lot of heat that gets pushed out the back of the aircraft, and that's fine because, again, you have Newton's laws of physics going for each and every action. There's an equal and opposite reaction. Push plane go fast. But we don't have anything that converts that kind of energy conversion into 100% fuel efficiency. The closest we've actually been able to get, and it's still terrible as far as it goes, is actually nuclear power is the most efficient fuel source that we have right now as human beings. And, again, even there, you're getting losses of energy throughout the system, such that each unit of fuel is not actually giving you, 100% efficiency. I think I'm pulling this out of my head, so just with that caveat, just know that I'm trying to remember, and I'm terrible at it because I am a disciple of the internet, just like we all are. And if you don't think you are, where are you watching me? So we don't store knowledge in our brains very much. But I want to say I read something where a good nuclear reactor, so like the kinds of reactors that we have running, like American warships, submarines, what have you, but a good nuclear reactor is something on the order of like 80% efficient. So you're losing 20% of the energy generated by the reactor to environmental effects, basically. But all of this is going in to say that one of the things that I want to do with these engines, for all that they're supposed to be, these beautiful things, there's no indication in any Star Wars stuff that I have read over the years, looked at, been intrigued by, what have you, that claims that they have any better capacity to convert fuel to energy than what we do. So I didn't load you guys. Silly tank. 2, 3, 4, 8. Silly tank. Now, this is the start of what will eventually become an automatic smelter. I just do not have... I have not reclaimed the rails from the abandoned mine shaft that I know about yet. So, I didn't load you guys up either. Alright, well, let's... Nope, that's the dirt box. 3, and another stack of copper. So I am still somewhat miffed that... Like, I get why they do it, but to me it means that it's not as useful of a block, because I don't believe that the blast furnace is any more fuel efficient than the furnace, and it only processes metal. And to me, that's just not worth it. So, and you can kind of see as I'm starting to close in more and more layers above this, why it is that I am still trying to sort out what my internal lighting situation is going to end up being. So, it's, oh, no, it is mostly refilled. Okay. So, yeah, and that's a little bit of a problem right there. That's okay, we'll fix it, but... And then I need to figure out, because this is how I get down to my lower mining area. I need to move this. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll reverse the flows, but that's okay. It's not enough to do it, but so, alright, well, let me pop that out. Whoops. Oh. So it's not actually in this. This is where I needed it, actually. Oh, jeez. Ah, jinkies. Oops. Okay. So it's actually going to close it up. Excuse me, just a moment. Sorry. Sorry. I will be very glad when this cold is over. Oops. So, because at this point, if we're already doing this, we might as well integrate it, right? Okay, and let's grab you guys. Oh, buddy. Ow. Okay. But that is... Yep. That's what we're doing. So it's going to take a little bit of adjustment, slipping things around, getting it all squared away. But yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I can also then go in and correct some of the things that need correcting about how I've done that so far. Good, good. Use your anger. Alright. So, it's got that working. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Bye. Okay. I am gonna do that. And that for now. Get a little bit of light going. See, what I don't care for here, I can't tell. Okay, I gotta back off and see this. From down all the way down here. Okay, so I'm seeing dolphins. A couple of. That is not nearly so problematic as far as I'm concerned as what it was before I did the whole thing. Alright, but oh yeah. Ooh, I even like the way that the glass is looking from underneath. Oh me, oh my. Yup. That's some good things right there. So, sploosh. So, and then we'll have to go inside here and figure out... Because I want to make that as efficient as possible. But there's only so much I know I can do. So, I'm trying to decide if that is going to end up meaning that I need to... if I need to go in and make it guess might as well pick the iron up. That's not bad. That's 2 stacks. And try and keep you guys in here. Woo! Hell yeah. Okay, so is it peak efficiency? No. But I had emptied this last night, and I have almost 5 stacks of iron for playing for around an hour and 3/4. That's not terrible. So, good things. Alright, I do think... Let's see, I don't think I have enough yet to do a full stack of... Nope. So... we are going to do that and that. Just as because I think I'm going to need a minimum of probably 2 stacks of iron per engine, and right now that's 3 engines, so I need 6 full stacks at least of iron ingots, or of iron blocks. So gonna be a minute, but alright, so let's go ahead and set in the height of the command tower as well. So let's just grab all my full stacks, except for this one, because that's going to be you know what, let's just do this. And full stack in there and leave the extra. Okay, so what I need is actually because yeah, if I don't get this lit up soon, this is going to be the mob farm. And it's not set up to be the mob farm yet. Okay, so outer edge. And it is tall enough it would be a nearly deadly fall just from this. Okay. Ow. I know it's silly to do it that way. But for the moment, I don't have a much better way of traversing that. So that's why we're thankful for very good armor. Now I will go ahead and box this in. So and I've also realized that one of the things that I do need to do sooner than later is go back and watch probably Empire, because I feel like with the asteroid scenes you get as much good data as you're going to get. And the reason I don't say Rogue One, though, that also has a lot of information too. I don't own Rogue One, and not really in a place to just keep renting it for art project references. All right. So we got that, and so 1, 2, 3. And then, okay, so now I need T. No, 27. 27, fool. You fool. 1, 2. I don't know why I'm trying to count it when I went to the problem of sorting it the way it needs to be. But okay. This one, I believe. So actually, let's chop you. Okay. Bye-bye then. Okay. So now we should. Yeah. So. Okay. Up 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Creeper, creeper, creepin'. Creeper, creeper, be creepin'. Yeah, we'll find out if I got off or not. There's a very solid possibility I missed. I believe I missed. Out. 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 Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Burn. Ow. You're gonna die. Told ya. Oh, we got an ender spoofers. What? But he died. You're telling me there's not a single scrap of nothing around him? What a bunch of junk. What a heap of junk. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so 22, so I should have 4 left. So there we go. Okay. Okay. Oh wait, no. Should go 1, 1, and 3. It's interesting to me which ways it is actually easier to build in Minecraft. For instance, it is so much more convenient to do this. Alright, and then 27. Than it is to build down. Like, this is not a difficult thing. You know, I'm only varying my height by a single block each time. And yet, the struggle that I have, if I were trying to do it the other way, like if I came off the top of there, I'm really running the risks of okay, so 32, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But the risks that I'm running are far more about, like, I can't place underneath unless there's something already down there to drop down by a single block. But to jump up and place a block, super simple. One of the basic moves that you gotta master in the game. Okay, so I did short this a block. So there's that. Fortunately, this is an easy fix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Alright, so I'm not worried about perfect symmetry on this. If you can determine that, you are playing in the world already and should just be excited that you're playing in my world. Don't really want any jumpers falling on me. Alright. And take one big... Actually, let's do that. And make my life a little simpler because I will be able to drop down much closer to where I need to be. So. I love seeing this. This feels so good. Like, even taking into account that I haven't necessarily built all of this the way I intended, Because, like, I've used creative for a couple of the builds already. Not the least of which is the Guardian Farm. But to have the resources to be doing as much as I've gotten done already. Okay. Alright. So, now the really fun one here is going to be, once I get this up, I won't actually do this height back there, because like I said, it basically seems like the back third of the bridge is actually going to come at some kind of angle back to meet this, so I don't have to have it all set to go. Let's finish this. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, thank you. Okay. Let's drop there. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now... Hey, that works out nice. I suppose I should have known that 56 divided by 2 is 28, but I will be honest, I had not paid that much attention to dividing that way in Minecraft, so it is what it is. Okay. So, because then the other thing that will eventually rise above all this, like, you've got the shield projectors, which are at least as tall as the as this by diameter. So yeah, at least by the references that I have, which again I can show you guys in just a few moments. There's some of this I'm going to have to tear down. So, and then we will do the smaller drop back down, instead of taking the full 28 plus block fall. Okay, so let's go look at it, shall we? Yep. So I'm going to have to lower those. I'm going to be really sad to tear that down because I'm very proud of the tessellation that I did up there. But that is... It feels a little shallow. But at this point, I'm locking this in. It might not be perfect scale, but it is good enough for government work. Oops. I'm already in that mode. I want this mode. Alright. So I will have to... Oh, jeebus. Alright. So we probably should run down and grab some torching material. So I have more torch material than I have sea lantern or glowstone at the moment. Because glowstone has not been one of the things that I've picked a whole lot of out of the nether yet. Screw it. Full stack. I want to make 4 stacks of torches. We are going to light this bitch up. So, because I don't want to try working on something and then all of a sudden, boom. And I don't know how long it's going to be till I actually get this all covered. So, I do like that this is actually a long enough advance up there that is like, oh, I actually get a chance to see what I built. That's cool. Alright, so let's pop you. Okay, so 3, pop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it's gonna have to be this one. 3. So there will be more lighting that will end up having to get done, but for now, we'll get a basic grid down. Alright. Just because, you know, I don't want to leave places for mobbies. Not worried about fighting them. It's more, I don't have creeper griefing off. Because what's the fun of that? But at the same time, I don't really want to have to come back and redo more than truly necessary if I can help it. Just because it's more resources to have to gather. It's just all kinds of things that make it go, okay, that's stealing some of the fun from building this. When it happens too much. I like leaving there might be a place that you accidentally forgot to creeper-proof, and now you've got to deal with the fact that you didn't creeper-proof it well. As opposed to every time I turn around, now I'm having to gather more resources because there's just no... like, it's just a constant barrage of creepers blowing up. That, to me, is where it becomes much less fun to have creepers popping in. The occasional, like, when I was covering the neck, I was literally going along, placing as delicately as I could, and all of a sudden I see green drop just into frame, it flashes, and were I not using stone, I would have lost more than the, 6 blocks that I had placed. I'm a little sad I wasn't recording, so I can't actually show you guys the reaction that I had to it, what have you. But, okay, so... I do think one of the things that I will do up here is there will be a pretty big observation deck so that we can look down on the structures as I build in more of the top of it. Yes? No. Yes. Still did it. So, but yeah, I'm having fun challenging myself to design the interiors of the Star Destroyer such that I can keep it mob proofed where I want it to be, and not be wasting lots of torches. Like, I don't want the Star Destroyer to just have this constant carpet of torches just to feel like I can walk around it and it's safe, which, if you're building an interstellar battleship, you kind of want to make sure that you've taken the time to actually get it safe for your crew, unless extenuating circumstances show up, and then, you deal with that. So, I guess I did forget to do that, but I think for now we're going to call that good for building. And we're going going to come down here and get ready to do more resource gathering. It's going to mean we're going to do that, actually, because I now have good reason to get lots and lots and lots of stone, as opposed to cobblestone, which I already have lots of cobblestone that hasn't gone into this build yet. Also still have all the reasons I had before to terraform back here, but now it's going to be more so. So I wanna we'll see when my wife gets home, because then I need to start thinking about getting ready to get to work. So I'm your soft hands. Drop one there. I don't think with how I'm working it's that big of a deal, but and honestly, aside from like all of the resources that I'm already picking up, if we have a creeper come over and blow up, then a creeper comes over and blows up, and we'll see what he did to help my terraforming efforts. So yeah, I want to kind of clear all this out. I kind of have an idea of what I'd really love to do back here is build in a system where it's water cooled to catch the heat and whatnot off the, like, so it's a spaceport. One of the things you're probably going to come to a spaceport to address is your engines. Well, you're not only going to use your engines to take off and land, but you know, especially if you're having problems, they're probably going to have to, fix something and then test it to make sure that, yes, that was the problem, or no, we missed whatever it is that's causing trouble here, and so I mean test firings. So I'm going to build back here kind of a protective shield for StarCraft engines to or spaceship engines to fire off against, and not just completely lay waste to the landscape behind them. So, but we're gonna try and find ways, I think, of making it appear as though, big tests have gone on. And there's just a lot happening. So but I think I'm gonna have to end up building it in like kind of 3 big sections, and kind of the notion would be like, if a ship the size of, say, the Millennium Falcon comes in, which, should be able to hide there on the back of the Star Destroyer, it's, you could position 2 or 3 of those kinds of ships on one section, but this spaceport, because it decided to accommodate a Star Destroyer, is using like 3 different sections. They're not, I'm going to try and make them look like, yes, they would protect, may not be the ideal protection. I've played with the idea of possibly having part of it like making part of it look like either they're testing an engine right now, or they just finished a test, and so there's, there's burns and whatnot on the protective shield. But I'm also considering building it with some magma blocks in there to make it look like, okay, maybe they just test fired it, and so now there's a lot of heat. In the shield, which is why it's still glowing and going, I'm super hot, even with the... because you've got to guess that the difference in off-put from an engine this size, I think if you were to do... well, here, let's... So, this is the book that I'm using as my reference. Forget if they have it under... Yep. So, they do have the... Millennium Falcon in here. They are mostly sitting here telling me things that I knew from watching the movies. Okay. So, yeah, they don't really offer reference on how big it is. But I think it's fairly safe to say that, the Millennium Falcon dumping its engines at full capacity into this heat shield really isn't going to affect the heat shield, except for maybe, a very, very narrow portion of it. Equivalent to something on the order of, 7 or 8 blocks in a line directly behind it. The Millennium Falcon, I believe, is smaller than that. So, if it's smaller than that, it's going to have much less... if they turn the main engines of the Star Destroyer on, there's a fair chance that they might have actually partially melted the facilities, because you're talking about a massive difference in engine output, the radiation, the heat, what have you. So, gets this down to sea level. And scoopy scoop, ice cream scoop, scoopy scoop, ice cream scoops. Alright. There we go. Almost 2.5 hours, so minus a little bit of time to get some breakfast and a little caffeine going. So, alright, folks. We will see tomorrow. I'm gonna get up and get going probably earlier than I did today. Part of the reason today was the way it was is I did not get a great deal of sleep last night. Oops. So we're going to go ahead and just take all of this all the way to the top. Let us go ahead and put what we can of that in there. This in here. And I've been using that as my ore stuff. I'm not super. Yeah, we'll just use the trash compactor because I have plenty of dirt coming to me. Alright, so let's go take the stone up to the top. Alright. So. Alright, folks. I'm going to go ahead then and we're going to call it for today. I got to get ready to go ahead and do some real work. Make some money, what have you. So, again, I'm just going to go ahead and plug Alora's website for recipe stuff. That is there in the chat. It is mountainsnmayhem.com. She's got a couple of good recipes up there already, with more on the way. Like I said, we hopefully in the next couple of weeks will reach a point where we've filmed and have gotten ourselves put together to do some Magic the Gathering here on the channel. And so there will be different kinds of content here on Magic and Mayhem. And then I should be back tomorrow morning, pretty early, to go ahead and keep working on the Star Destroyer here. My name is TanktheElder. This has been my Let's Build / Let's Play Minecraft world, and I want to thank everybody for stopping by. And I will catch everybody in the next